Peter's on the phone. Hold on. Sorry, I'm late. Wrapping up some business. Good afternoon. The president this morning met with General McMaster. Sally Yates came here on the 26th of January. Then she informed the counsel's office that there were materials that were relevant to the situation. It wasn't until about 7 days later that they had access to those documents. After that time, they did what you should do, frankly, is an element of due process, reviewing the situation. They informed the president right away after they were informed of her giving us a heads up, and ultimately the president made the right decision. But I guess the question, or the point that I would put back on you is somebody came over, gave us a heads up on a situation, told us there were materials. We were provided those materials 7 days later, reviewed those materials, underwent a process of reviewing the situation, and ultimately the president made a decision and it was the right one. So I think that the process worked, frankly, when you think of the time in which we had the information to make the decision that the president made. Well, you also attended the weekly Senate Republican Policy Lunch. Later this afternoon, the vice president will be... She had come here, given a heads up, told us there were materials, and at the same time, we did what we should do. Just because someone comes in and gives you a heads up about something and says, I want to share some information, it doesn't mean that you immediately jump the gun and go take an action. I think if you flip this scenario and say, what if we had just dismissed somebody because a political opponent of the president had made an utterance, you would argue that it was pretty irrational to act in that manner. We did what we were supposed to do. The president made ultimately the right decision, and I think he was proven that
How is she a political opponent of the president?
She was.
She's the acting attorney general that he
appointed by the Obama administration and a strong supporter of Clinton. So. And key stakeholders. Secretary of Health and Human Services, Dr. Tom Price, is in Michigan and West. I think reducing the threat, especially when it comes to ISIS and the Taliban.
Reducing the threat.
Well, I mean, minimizing, eliminating, but obviously, in the best case scenario, we want Major. I'm going to answer Mara's question. I think the answer is that we want to eliminate the threats that are against our national security and pose a threat to our citizens, our allies. So we need to fully eliminate any threat around the globe, frankly, not just in Afghanistan, that poses a threat to our people and our allies. And he's already made moves both behind the scenes with leaders and his public statement. Just because you spend more, throw more people, doesn't mean you're doing it in the most effective way. I think one of the things that he has asked his national security team to do is to actually rethink the strategy. What are we doing to achieve the goals that you were asking about? How do we actually, how do we win? How do we eliminate the threat? And I think doing that isn't just a question of throwing money or people, but looking at the mission and the strategy, and that's what the team has been doing holistically, not just in Afghanistan, but the total beyond Afghanistan. It's also the way that he's asking them to look at the threat that ISIS poses. On the world stage. These visits are another important part of this American resurgence.